Hey YouTubers, out for an Independence Day hike. And you can't get any more independent than when you're out in the woods. It's a wonderful day in the neighborhoods. Looking forward to a nice long hike today. And it's beautiful as usual. Let's see what interesting things we see on the trail today. I love the spirit and the meaning of Independence Day a lot. It's an important time in our history. But I'm not really a fireworks guy. Never really got into them. And, you know, fireworks can be a stressful time for certain people. I remember young parents who have babies trying to put them to sleep, fireworks going off all the time. You know, I remember that was something that was always stressful for me and Mrs. Hike with Mike. And also a lot of folks, you know, that have been through traumatic experiences, veterans, police officers, EMTs, and others. The sound of the fireworks really, you know, trigger traumatic experiences they had, and it's not one of their favorite days, and they like to be away from all the noise of the fireworks. So I'm glad I'm coming out here to reflect on the spirit and the meaning of Independence Day, and not really concerned about the fireworks and stuff like that. I'm enjoying the silence and serenity of the woods now, before later on the bombastic and noisy fireworks begin. So I'm going to really appreciate this right now. The crickets are my firework sounds. I like that a lot better. Or the whippoorwill. Or the frogs. I love the songs in nature. Two roads have diverged in the woods. And I'm going to do what Robert Frost did in his poem, famous poem, and take the road less traveled. And that has made all the difference. Technically it's a trail, but I think you get the meaning. Look at that big old oak. The stories it could tell. I walk through these woods and I hear the birds singing, the insects, and it's very relaxing. It's almost like you're in a nice warm bed, and then an airplane flies over and it's like an alarm clock and just totally ruins the vibe. I hate every time I hear a plane flying overhead. It ruins the mellow and the beauty. Even the birds a lot of times stop singing when the planes come over. Just give me the mellow and I'm all right. Just listen to nature's music. It's good medicine. Well, I'm off trail right now, and it's important to use the natural woodlands as a marker. So you see that giant pine there, that's where the trail is. So I just go straight towards that. You don't want to get lost in the woods. It's not a pleasant experience. I've been there before. Well, I found a really nice place, shaded, to relax off trail. And here's another example of using natural markers to make sure you find your way back to the trail. I've got this dead tree here, which is a unique feature. So that's where I'm at. And then way in the distance you can see the large pine where the trail is. I'm not really that far off of a trail, but in Florida you'd be surprised. You can walk a few yards off the trail and everything starts to look the same. So always look for unique natural markers when you go off trail. This Ziploc bag is always in my pack. I'm a jotter down. I write stuff down when things come into my head all the time. And that Ziploc bag is filled with future swamp talks. You know, ideas I've written down. And there's also a lot of chore lists and recipe lists that actually got mixed into it too, because I'm always writing down what I need to get to the grocery store and stuff like that. Because I like to cook, and I do most of the cooking and the shopping for food in our house. I enjoy cooking a lot. In fact, I do have a small playlist of some recipes that I've uploaded. But that's where all the swamp talks come from. I write down ideas, things that inspire me. I throw it in the Ziploc bag and put it in my backpack. So maybe later on I'll go through them and see if another swamp talk is born today. We'll see. But right now, I'm just enjoying this. Just sitting here, enjoying the zen. Okie dokie. Back on the trail. Time to continue forward. Put more mileage in. And enjoy the mellow. You know, when you're in the woods and you're under a lot of shade, particularly in my spot on the earth, it's a lot cooler. I mean, the difference is pretty amazing when you're in the shade as opposed to being out like in a prairie or a savanna. So looks like I might need to head back soon because it looks like some of those clouds are forming. It's that time of year. And you can get some wicked storms, thunderstorms, heavy downpours, lots of dangerous lightning. It's not very pleasant. But right now, everything's a-okay. Lots of lichens and moss growing on the trees. It's really cool. At night sometimes I'll bring my UV light and a lot of the lichens light up like a fluorescent blacklight poster. It's kind of cool. And I'm always looking for scorpions because they light up too with the UV light. I've only come across them once. And unfortunately, I didn't have my UV light with me, but okay, time to head home. Still have several miles to go, but so far it's been a wonderful time in the woods. So we'll probably see some other cool stuff before we get back to the truck. Those of you who have followed my channel for several years know that I always log down my mileage, and every New Year's Day I go for a hike and reflect back on all my hikes and the mileage. And this year I don't have a lot of mileage in. Part of it was a lot of working hours, and then now with the price of gas I do all my hikes locally, because I can't drive, the mountains of Alabama or the Okefenokee Swamp, in places like that, because the gas is so expensive. So I've been focusing on local stuff, which is usually less mileage. It's still great, I'm not complaining, but I was just looking at my mileage for this year compared to previous years, and it's way down, and a lot of it has to do with the price of gas. I didn't have the time, to take time off to go for a drive to, northern Alabama or something like that. So, too busy. So, staying locally, less mileage. But that's all right, because I love it out here.